Okay, welcome back to the Skullcast. My name is Asher Whitmer. This is my brother Christopher Whitmer, and we are ready to have a fun episode for you guys here today. We are what do you call it when like somebody is from one culture, third culture? We're like third culture sports fans or something, because we grew up in Minnesota. We moved to LA, and our young adulthood and early adulthood was formed in LA. And so we're here this morning excited that the Dodgers won the World Series. We're here this morning excited that the Vikings beat the Lions.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of things that we're like blowing off steam about. No rhyme or reason to the untrained or uninformed listener to our own history. Let's just jump in. I messaged you. We were going back and forth last night that like, oh, this episode's going to be fun. And I was like, it's going to be hard not to come on. It's going to be difficult not to come on hard with "I told you so" about JJ McCarthy. Not that I am surprised they won on one hand. On the other hand, I was like, I think based off of what we've seen, I think this could happen. I think they could do it. McCarthy's that kind of guy.
Yeah. We both, after we stopped recording last week, we both were like, I almost picked the Vikings. And then we were like, in the same way that you can't vote against the Chiefs and the Eagles right now, you can't vote for the Vikings just based on how they've played. But then they went out. I feel like they went out and they proved our kind of preseason expectations correct.
What we saw against the Lions is what we expected to see from week one, like the whole way through. Defense, offense. McCarthy, to be clear, McCarthy was not flashy, dramatic. But he made the plays he needed to make. And if anybody remembers the Lions, was that week 7 last year where they just needed to make a first down and they win the game, and Darnold couldn't get that first down converted. Lions go down, kick a field goal, and win.
Yeah.
And McCarthy did it. He first try. I guess was it a third and long? I can't remember. But anyways,
I think it might have been third. And he layered it. Like, if you've listened to any local Vikings media this past offseason, they were all talking about like the touch on the football and stuff, which based off of listening to them, I figured out is like that ability to just like slide it right into where Naylor needs to catch it. And it was
the only space it could be caught, essentially.
Yeah. And it's precision. And that's something that he's really struggled with, and when in that incredible moment was able to do that, which shows like it shows his ability. So he might not be able to do that consistently the rest of the season. Like, he might miss some of those, but it shows that he has that ability and that he is growing. Like he struggled with that in camp and has now progressively gotten better. And that's what you should see in a rookie. You should see someone who like game by game is getting better. And he's almost guaranteed to have a dud or two yet the rest of the season.
Oh, for sure.
But like, that's what we expected.
Yeah, exactly. A couple things on that. One is that I was going to say something about the layering and precision. What were you saying?
His ability to grow. He worked on it
off-season. His precision wasn't good even in that game alone.
Yeah.
Like, there was a dramatic difference between when he had time to set his feet versus throwing on the run. So there are some things that, and yet one of his touchdown passes came on the run. So as we saw within the game alone, there's a lot to be improved. Like, this is, we're not sitting here saying like McCarthy's MVP caliber kind of thing. Although if he continues the trajectory of growing, I think that could easily be one day. Specifically, and this is the second thing that I want to look at, is it's not fair to compare McCarthy to the Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams of today. Like, if you go back and look at their first 3 games, Drake Maye came out pretty strong. So, I mean, I have the stats up here. Drake Maye, through his first 3 games, actually was only 2 starts. He came in for part of a game, his first one. His fourth game, I think, did he get injured or something? Because he only played part of that game as well. But he had 5 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, no rushing touchdowns, and like roughly 530 yards of passing. Outside of that, none of the other guys had a touchdown pass in the first 3 games. Let me confirm that. No, Jayden Daniels had his first in his 3rd game.
You're
Caleb
talking
Williams,
about last year, them
of their career, first NFL games.
Yeah.
That's what you need to compare McCarthy to, not to this year.
Yeah.
Don't compare to what they're doing this year. Compare to the first 3 games that they've had. JJ McCarthy is the first player in NFL history to have a game where he has 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, 2 of those in his first 3 games. He's 4 for 4. That Atlanta game is horrible. It's bad. He didn't have hardly any passing yards, let alone a touchdown. He threw 2 interceptions. He fumbled it a couple times. So that Atlanta game is awful, and it darkens his especially when you look at cumulative metrics like his rating and so forth. It brings it lower than some of the other guys. But he's had 4 touchdown passes. He's had 2 rushing touchdown passes, 6 touchdowns in his first 3 games. None of the other QBs drafted in his class had that many touchdowns within his first 3 games of the NFL. So all that to say, he's starting off swell. He's starting off wonderfully. I think my expectations were too high. I expected with Kevin O'Connell, I was like, watch him come out and put up 300 yards against the Bears. And obviously that didn't happen. But when you compare to these other guys, and Drake Maye he's deserves some decent MVP talk himself this year with how he's playing. And obviously we don't know what McCarthy's going to look like 25 games in yet. But my point being, where he's already starting in some regards better than the rest in his class started.
Yeah.
How much does a start talk? I don't know. Jayden Daniels, CJ Stroud, like they've all taken some fairly big slumps into it. But my point being, I don't know why there's still kind of this drive to like prove McCarthy's not good. And I'm just like, McCarthy's matching tit for tat with all the other guys in his draft class, better than some of the guys that were drafted high and that people really want to do well. Bo Nix was awful. He didn't have a touchdown pass for his first let's see. Well, I guess in his 4th game he got one, but he had 4 interceptions in his first 2 games. It took him a while to really get going.
How many JJ McCarthy's had 1 interception in each of his games?
He had 2 interceptions against Atlanta. Otherwise, it was 1 against the Bears and 1 against the...
Okay, so 4 for 3. Plus a fumble, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you're saying is exactly right. I thought that the Vikings as a team were gonna win a lot of games, but like honestly, like if McCarthy hadn't been gotten injured, that similar trajectory, that like 10 to 12 games. I mean, I said 13, but 10 to 12 games would be feasible. Like the track that he's on, Bears, Falcons, Lions, especially beating the Lions, the track that he's on
in their house. Yeah.
Yeah. if you took that track and against the Bengals, I think he would have beat the Bengals and the Browns a lot easier than Carson did. Probably would have worked something out against the Steelers. I mean, yeah, we could go on. Like the Eagles, like if I think it's very much in line. Coming back to my original point, I think it's very much in line with the expectations that we had in the preseason, which included like essentially a rookie season for McCarthy. And what you're pointing out is that he's even better than some of these people that we really think are doing really great, especially in their second season. Now, obviously, Jayden Daniels has had an awfully unfortunate season. Especially with like dislocating his elbow now.
Well, and to clarify, like Drake Maye had a really good start. Drake Maye is probably the best of the class so far. When you look at
and honestly,
singular stats, he didn't have a good team around him last year. But when you look at what they did, but I'm just saying McCarthy's right there too. Drake Maye didn't throw any interceptions. He had 5 passing touchdowns. McCarthy has 4 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. Maye didn't have any in his first 3 games. So I'm just saying they're comparable. They're there. And there's, like you were pointing out at the beginning, there's things McCarthy is already demonstrating, having learned and grown.
Yeah.
And the trajectory is there to build off of.
And that's like, someone said that like if you're only looking at the box scores, at the stats, that and you conclude, JJ McCarthy's not a good quarterback, or like he's trash, or we should have stuck with Darnold. You clearly didn't watch the game. Like yeah. there is, and this is so cliche, but like there is an it factor about guys like JJ, and I think this is true about Jayden. I think this is true about Drake Maye. There is like this sort of it factor where like the team is energized by his presence. I don't want to kick him while he's down. I think Carson Wentz, I come away from this season admiring Carson Wentz a lot more than I did before. But just to be frank, I don't think he has an it factor. Like I don't think people are inspired by him, even though he's like grinding it out in under grueling pain. And that sort of motivation is so essential to like the quarterback position in a way that even like, I mean, Justin Jefferson also has an it factor, I think, but I don't think he can energize a team quite the same way.
Yeah, when it's coming from your quarterback. I thought about that too. It's like, well, Wentz had some games where he put up better stats, perhaps, than McCarthy did in this Lions game. But there was an energy there that hadn't been there for 5 weeks or however many he missed. And so, it's like I don't know. We'll get into our picks at the end, but I'm still a little bit at that place where we were last week. It's like, prove it now. Okay, you won. That's good. Can you be consistent? Especially, and maybe we can transition in a little bit more to some of the other aspects of the game, but the defense showed up in a way that I don't think we've seen ever this season. And they showed up how they were supposed to show up. Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen specifically. Obviously, Cashman was back. Harrison Smith I was going to say Harrison Phillips. Harrison Smith had his
RIP.
Had a full game of snap count, and Van Ginkel was there. If that happens consistently, I think the playoffs are still on the table. Now, this is going to turn into one of the toughest, like we thought it would be, the toughest division in football. But the way the defense played in that game is exactly, if you're going to beat the Lions, if you're going to beat the Rams of the playoffs, or, the Eagles, whatever teams is standing in your way, you have to have a defense that's physical like that. And the thing that I that stood out to me watching that game was, for as entirely unprepared as they were in the Thursday night game against the Chargers, I would say, and I don't think I'm just like seesawing. We're talking about a coach who has led the largest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah.
We're talking about a coach who has raised up mediocre quarterbacks everywhere he's gone he's only been here in Minnesota as a head coach, but he's had a number of different quarterbacks that he's had to work with. I would say Sunday's game against the Lions was perhaps his best coached game. It looked, and both him and Flores, they looked prepared.
Dialed in.
That's what I wanted to see. After the Rams and Lions game, I wanted to see you guys come and have a plan that addressed your issues, fixed your issues. Now they had some things going for them offensively. I think that was the first that they had 4 of the 5 starters on the O-line playing together for a whole game. And so, we hadn't really seen that before. But I still, just the plays, even the whole way they were working, which I guess Jones had been injured a little bit. Maybe we would have seen that earlier. We didn't see it against the Bears or Atlanta or anything, but the way they were using Mason and Jones simultaneously, running a fake handoff to Mason and then screen pass out to Jones, like we need to see more of that kind of stuff. It's not trick plays, but it's deceptive, and it's the kind of thing that's going to be a weapon down the road. And then just the defense showed up. The defense was ready. They were physical. They were prepared. And I think you mentioned it seemed as though perhaps Hargrave and Allen specifically were publicly addressed by the team.
Yeah. Just based off of the after every game, Kevin O'Connell hands out game balls, which we haven't seen in a while, because even in one of their wins, they didn't show it, which makes me, is interesting. It feels like maybe it wasn't super happy time, even though it was a win. Yeah. And he specifically was like, oh shoot, I don't remember what he said, but it was like kind of like
he specifically said you were challenged, I think.
Yeah, you were challenged and you like stepped up essentially, or you like met that challenge. And they weren't like up front. They he actually had to like pull out his quarterback talent and like toss them the ball in the back of the crowd. So it wasn't even like they were like hyped and like ready to receive the game ball.
Yeah.
And so like just that whole framing of it felt like, I wonder if Hargrave and Allen were like publicly addressed in front of the team, because then also the team also like really like roared in response when he gave them game balls and stuff. And he does this like he he did this to Jordan Addison when Addison was benched for the first quarter or the first half in London.
It was just a quarter. Yeah.
Quarter, yeah. And then got the game-winning touchdown. Like O'Connell beelined it to him, gave him a big hug, and then the mic's caught like, I'm so effing proud of you. So he does this. Like he'll challenge them clearly. He'll be mad. And then he just makes a point to lift them back up again. Which again is like, last couple of weeks have been rough, but it's like another reason. It's like I'm kind of ride or die with O'Connell, just because I think, we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but he has that ability to like lift people up.
Yeah.
Which could be really sappy, but I think the fact that he holds people accountable keeps it from being cheesy, and I think that's the difference between him and McDaniels, Mike Dolphins coach
down in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I don't watch any of their stuff, so like maybe he does, but he seems like a guy who's like a player's coach, but then isn't able to hold them accountable.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. I think we see that in places. And obviously, there's guys like, we've picked on Sirianni quite a bit. It still baffles me how he has the ability to. I don't know. I think Philly culture is probably just a little bit different. It's you don't see him as a player's coach really. It's just like he has his own quirky personality, but he's winning Super Bowl. He's gone to the Super Bowl multiple times. He can manage star personalities and reel them in, and then you have guys like Andy Reid, who's like, I don't really know what his personality is. He's just like a genius at scheming up offense.
Yeah.
And amazing. Like, he's done well everywhere he's gone, but he doesn't seem like a sappy players coach, but he also doesn't seem like this hard-nosed kind of whatever. And then you have the players coaches, Mike McDaniels being maybe like the poster boy of it. But O'Connell could probably come across that way too, like super positive, super sappy, and I think like the longer his tenure goes, the more we see this where not only do we get a level of honesty at the podium that I think plays into some of the media's attempt to like read between the lines and is like, what's going on? And then we had a couple of weeks there where media had narratives going about the team that were just crazy. And every now and then you'd get a peek into the clubhouse, and it's like, I don't think they are quite like how the media is painting it. And now obviously there's a win. Everybody feels good after a win. I do think there probably was tension. I don't doubt that when you have the adversity that they faced. Like, there's going to be a level of tension and general frustration. But in terms of O'Connell losing the locker room and all that, what I was going to say is we see honesty to media, and then we've seen this like no BS, call them out kind of hard-nosed almost by Kevin O'Connell, married to his players coach, like really valuing building up a good culture and so forth. And I'm with you. I'm ride or die. There's not really anything that wants Jim Harbaugh, even though they punched us 37-10. Like some of those things are learning curves for Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. He has yet to win a playoff game, so there's a lot that he has to learn yet. I have no doubt. But is there a guy that can learn it and do it and go the distance, develop a young QB? I'm very confident O'Connell can do it.
Yeah. There's sometimes I've worried that if I was following Kevin O'Connell, like if I was under his leadership, like the way he talks about quarterbacks makes me sometimes worry, and I think I got a little bit worried about this the last couple of weeks, is he so focused on developing McCarthy and developing the quarterbacks that the rest of the team is getting neglected. And sometimes it kind of bothers me, like where he talks about, it's like, what did he say? Something about, he was gonna put on pads, he was gonna strap up and lace up and imitate Lamar Jackson for the to prepare the defense. It's just like he so often refers to his own like failure in a self-deprecating way that I'm just like, all he thinks about is quarterbacking and the quarterback development and how his career didn't turn out the way he wanted to. It's clearly a driving factor for him is how he was treated. And so I've worried. I was like, is he kind of fixated on that he's not bringing the rest of the team along? And then you hear things about like Justin Jefferson sneaking up on him with a mask, during the Halloween practice or whatever. And I don't really know, how the defense is responding to him and stuff, but like to me, it just seems very clearly, like you were saying, he has not lost the locker room. There's a certain freeness between him and some of his players. I mean, this week he indicated that he basically didn't talk to the team. Like, he pulled the captains aside and said, "Hey, this is on you guys to to get the message across to the team." And then, like, the night before, when they have their some sort of powwow, all of the captains address the team, which is like, however, there's a bunch of them. And so, like, there is like this way of, like, he is empowering the team and causing them to take ownership in a way that is incredible leadership. Like, he clearly, I don't know if it's just intuitive to him, but, like, he clearly has thought a lot about his leadership approach. And he's incredibly, incredibly intentional about developing his coaches and his team. That, I want to see how the rest of the season goes. Like, obviously, if they fall apart again, I don't know that you certainly don't come back. Well, I mean, maybe you do come back from that, but, like, it seems like, if they would fall apart again and there'd be, like, more of the same that we had the last couple of weeks, then you would start to wonder, like, oh, did he actually lose the locker room? But, like, if this trajectory from the way we saw them rebound against the Lions, like, we haven't won a game in, like, 5 years in Ford Stadium
against the Lions and in the place where they got slaughtered, essentially. No, I've thought about that too. His fixation on developing quarterback, even, like, I think that comes out even in his scheming, and we've talked about that some. And so I do think, you know how for any of us, there's an event in life that shapes kind of what we end up doing with our life and pursuing and finding purpose and passion. And often that thing is kind of a wound, or there's a sort of baggage that comes with that. And I think that's probably true. Just as a fan, like, observing O'Connell, there's a level of baggage there that I'm sure Kevin has to continue to process through. I was going to say manage. I don't know if it's how it is. But the things that give me hope, kind of, what you were talking about, some of how the players respond to him, but then even the fact that he meets with guys like Harrison Smith once a week, one-on-one, like, he's meeting with defensive players, he's meeting with, we don't get this. You don't have sound bites like you did in Cincinnati coming out. Now, Minnesota's offense hasn't been the Bengals offense, but where you have players speaking to the media about how, like, defense has to get a stop. We got to play complementary football. Offensive players saying that. We don't have that kind of rumbling coming around. Even the was it Alec Lewis or whatever that wrote an article talking about tension in locker room and stuff. Like, he was kind of pulling on some stuff back in spring training or training camp. Spring training is baseball. So I just think that Minnesota's faced plenty of adversity. If there was a breaking down of culture, there would have been a couple of times, even, quite frankly, the way Carson Wentz was handled in that last game, like, could have been a classic time. Now, Wentz came out in defense of the Vikings for that. Was he told to do that? I don't know. I mean, he
has no obligation.
Yeah, that's true. What I'm trying to say is, I don't doubt that that's a factor that,
for sure,
fellow coaches around O'Connell or mentors in O'Connell's life probably have pointed out or do point out, and could be the Achilles heel of sorts of. On one hand, he's going to be very successful at developing quarterbacks. On the other hand, he may be so focused on quarterbacks that he struggles to win. But O'Connell seems to be a healthy dude and at least aware enough to get people around him to help him lead a whole team, even if his specialty is the quarterback development. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It definitely seeing them come out. If they would have lost to the Lions, that's what I expected, and then it would have been sort of like, we'll see what the rest of the season does. But the fact that they beat the Lions makes the rest of the season look more exciting and ready to watch.
Yeah.
I have another message that my video can't be accessed here.
Yeah,
We
you
should
froze.
let's look at our picks here.
Yeah.
You have
While you're pulling that up, I'm gonna say I'm looking at the Minnesota schedule, and with Chicago coming up, 2 games against Green Bay, and then the Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. I think our basement is 9 wins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think, the fact that we have the Lions and the Bears to play at home,
Yeah.
it's like, sure, we went into their house and beat them. They could maybe come and beat us, but it'll be interesting. I'm really curious to see how they respond. How they respond to this Ravens game is going to say a lot. If they're even if they lose, if they're competitive and close and it's tough, that'll give me a lot of encouragement. Thinking, I think we could pull something out here.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch. You or I don't know if you walked away with last week, but I did not do well. 6-8. You were 10-4, so you're now in the lead at 85 and 49.
I didn't know we had 4 games difference last week.
Well, yeah, that was just in week 9. We were tied, and now I just gave up the lead. It's like I'm the Minnesota Twins crashing and burning in the second half. We tracked together, except I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Bucks. Yeah. I want the Bucks to win. I'm more of a
but
Mayfield
you need to differentiate.
And I think it's likely. I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on the Texans yet either. I'm gonna say the Texans beat the Jaguars.
That's fair.
Are the Vikings in this list? Oh yeah.
I had this weird feeling.
We both have the Ravens.
I had this intrusive thought when I was predicting the Bills Dolphins, as terrible and like they traded people away and stuff. As terrible as the Dolphins are, I had this intrusive thought of like, I should choose the Dolphins. I just want to say that because like if it happens, I want it on record. I don't actually want to put my name to it.
Yeah.
This is the coward's way. But division games can be weird, and the Dolphins are hosting, and those 2 teams particularly often don't do well in like each other's stadiums.
Yeah. Yeah. So we both have the Ravens beating the Vikings, which will be disheartening. That'll mean both of JJ's games at homes are losses. I think for me, it's just like I want to see it consistently. It's a great game. Let's see you go out and do it before I trust you and feel like I can pick you again. And Lamar Jackson is back, looking his normal self. He's going to be a big challenge for Flores and the defense.
Yeah.
I think if Hargrave and Allen can go out and be physical and manhandle the front like they did against the Lions, that'll be huge. They shut down the run, perhaps one of the best. I mean, he is one of the best. I was going to say perhaps the best running back in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs was a basic non-factor in that game. And can they do that against Henry?
Two games before against the Eagles too. They not those players, but the Vikings shut down Saquon Barkley.
Exactly. Now the challenge here, like Hurts, I guess a little bit, but even more so, is you have a very quarterback that's very capable of running. Goff's not a runner. Like you could get pressure to Goff and disrupt him. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. The Ravens defense hasn't been good when you look at the grand scheme of the year, but lately they've been looking like their normal selves. And so those are things that I'll stick with the Ravens. Would love to be able to to be wrong on that pick this weekend, and that'll definitely change.
Purple game.
What do you mean the purple game? They're all purple?
Both? No, just both. It's the two purple teams.
The Ravens are purple. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna start giving the
Niners their due.
The Niners and the Rodgers Steelers their love. They don't go away. They didn't really do anything at the deadline, and so I'm not sure that they're going to do much in the playoffs. But
I also forgot that Joe Alt is out for the season.
Oh yeah, I wondered. I was like, man, because they have both of their All-Pro tackles are currently injured right now.
And by the way, Joe Alt is out for the same injury that McCarthy was out for. He came back sooner. The Vikings held McCarthy out until his ankle was totally healed.
That's all. Joe Alt is out with a high ankle sprain.
Well, maybe I should go clarify that before I say that confidently. He was out for a high ankle sprain, came back, and is now out again. And I was thinking it was related to his ankle, but
okay, because he's out for the season now, right?
Yeah.
The Packers and the Eagles. The Packers. If I'm a Packers fan, it'll be an interesting game. The Packers have had some big wins this year, but if I'm a Packers fan, this is how I am with my team, with my fan. When teams that do something in the playoffs beat the teams they're supposed to beat, like maybe they lose to maybe they don't have a super sexy record, but they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And the Packers haven't done that this year. Their two losses come against teams they should have beaten.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love.
Browns and Panthers. And then a tie with the Cowboys.
Jordan Love didn't throw any touchdown passes. I think he threw one interception on Sunday. I'm not even really sure how to think about the Packers because they're, on one hand, the way they played the Lions, who else did they beat somebody else pretty strongly.
They played the Lions, the Giants. No,
I'm looking it up here real quick.
The Packers feel like a team.
The Commanders. They blew out the Commanders pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was 9 points.
The Packers feel like a team where it's just like they are who we thought they were. Like people are out here putting them in the Super Bowl, and I'm just like, okay, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think they're the team that you think they are, and I don't know why you think they are, other than that they're the Packers. Like, they're the Packers, and you're hoping for a narrative that Love is like Favre 2 or Favre 3. Like people love comparing that the Packers have had 3 quarterbacks while the Vikings have had 30 or whatever.
Jordan Love is the biggest. That's why I wasn't that nervous at the Micah Parsons trade, is because their lack of edge rushing isn't the thing standing between them and a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
It's Jordan Love. Now, if Jordan Love shows up and plays like he did against the Lions,
right,
which really hasn't been seen since I should look at his game against, because they put up 35 against the Steelers. Let me look. That was a pretty good game. Jordan Love, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, if Jordan Love shows up like that, they could go deep. But then he turns around and shows up, or doesn't show up, against the Panthers. And so, I mean, I guess based off of the pattern, they probably will beat the Eagles and then lose to the Giants or something. But I think the Eagles are getting it turned around. This is around the same time last year they started turning it around, and so I'm going with the Eagles.
The Vikings were like a get right game for their locker room culture. Like, they were already like pulling out. I mean obviously they were winning, but AJ Brown decided to simmer down and was like, okay, I can stay here.
Oh, we knew it would be that way. Vikings get the Eagles right. Giants get their moment in the sun, beating the Eagles, and the Vikings turn in and it's like, hey, do you need some help getting back on track? Here, we'll give it to you. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
it's exciting. It's exciting to be a Vikings fan. We have QB development underway, barring any major injuries. Hopefully that doesn't happen more. Hopefully it's a fun second half of the season. But like we've been saying, hang in there. Don't ride the emotional, dramatic waves of media narratives.
Or
stay in there.
Or just like it is gonna be a roller coaster, and like part of the thrill of the roller coaster is that you have ups and downs.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's not going to be a roller coaster. I'm saying don't ride the roller coaster narrative ride of like Minnesota made the wrong decision. They should have kept Darnold and Jones and like somebody floated the idea that the coaching staff could be gone at the end of the year. Like what in the world?
Maybe like the O-line coach, and also I've never loved Wes Phillips. Kevin O'Connell brought Wes Phillips from the Rams. He doesn't seem like an inspiring person to me, but
although wasn't it his idea to do that fake handoff screen pass to Jones?
It might have been.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. We will see how this week goes, and then we'll know if we are.
We might be all down in the dumps again next week.
McCarthy's a bust, and Kevin O'Connell's the worst coach.
Kwesi has to go.
Why? Mr. Speedy, who couldn't catch a ball last year, who was a bust of a draft, came up big with sticky fingers to close out the game against the division rivals.
Sure did.
Okay, we'll see you all next week.
All right.